it's just Jersey, man. We're a different breed. Place. Who doesn't want to win in Jersey?
What's up, everybody? We are back. Episode 23, breakdown from the barn. Very special guest here today. We got first, as always, greatest mind in wrestling, Eric Winnock, and now we're bringing you from Ewing. We got Joey Galante here, head coach, the College of New Jersey. We talk about all the schools here, not just Rutgers. We talk about everything. We got some action. College of New Jersey, great school, great wrestling team over the ages. You know, how's it going, Joey?
Oh, it's going awesome, guys. Thanks so much for having me. I love what you're doing. Just bringing some excitement, more excitement to New Jersey wrestling, and can never be enough. So, way to go.
Yeah, man. Jersey wrestling is where it's at, you know, and we want to cover it from top to bottom. We get it all down, and we love the TCNJ. Always went to that tournament back in college. We know we had some history. We used to train back in the day, bunch of hammers out there in the Hornets Nest at Upper Township back in the day. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those days and who was down there in that room? We listened to the Offspring. I remember your dad had that playing every time for whatever reason.
Oh man, bad habit. Yeah, it's got some good stuff, some good memories when we were listening to that music, and still brings me back. But we had a great rec program, and I think it drew people in from just local area, and we wanted to wrestle freestyle. I remember back in the day, I didn't want to wrestle scholastic. I just wanted to wrestle freestyle because we were having so much fun. All you guys would come in. So we had Buna, we had Absagami, Okrest, all kinds of different guys, and the guys just wanted to get after it. So we would basically just run our rec program all year long, and we ran out of Upper Township Middle School. It was nothing, I won't say nothing special, but we rolled out the mats and we rolled them out and rolled them up every single night, and just hard-nosed practices and getting everybody together. So it was a really cool meeting place, and it's so funny because we could never come up with a name for the wrestling team. Like, we would go away and we'd wrestle these really cool teams. We'd wrestle Wrecking Crew and wrestle all these different. But the Forster brothers, Eric, were the only guys to ever come up with a name for our club, and they wanted us to be called Galante Vigilantes. All right, and that was the name that they came up with, and we didn't adopt it, but it was the only one that really, like, I was like, man, that's a really good one. And 30 years later, I still remember that.
Yeah, and we were just. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
No, I was gonna say you need a good nickname. Go right to John Forster, because he's gonna come up with it. I'll say real quick, John. I'm sorry to go off script, but you had mentioned having a strong rec program, and as someone who manages the Westfield PAL wrestling program K-8, you're spot on in terms of the importance. We're so caught up with the club scene, how important having a strong youth program is, basically to feed all the way to the middle school and the high school. And the last thing I'll say on that, John, is, I always mention CJ Composto. I probably mention him on every broadcast, but he was speaking to the Beat the Streets guys in an interview in the off season. And one of the things he mentioned is not just working with his club guys and Apex and all that stuff, but talking about what a great experience he had coming through the rec program. So, just hearing that, how important that is. And I think people lose sight of that.
Yeah. And we were just chatting before we went live. I mean, we went down to that Potomac Cup, and there were some hammers on that team. You had, the Bridge brothers, the Galantes, a lot of guys, from Buna. We talked Lou Andujar, the Castellinis, and we won that cup, but we were mad. I remember that. They didn't give us a cup. That was messed up, man.
We went down there, busted them up, and came home empty-handed. But we know in our hearts. We got it all. We got everything. We took him for all his worth.
At Stone Cold Greg Austin, he's the seventh most wins in Rutgers history. 109 wins. That guy. Good deal.
Who's second in Rutgers wins?
Second is I should know this. He just got passed. Who's the second?
Oh, I thought it was you. And then national team. So you're fourth or fifth. You're just
Rod Van Ness is third. I'm sixth, man. I had 110. I had one more than Austin.
Do you have any eligibility left?
Go out on the mat when national surpassed them.
Before our day, he was a tough dude. I can't remember it right now. I'll throw it in the notes.
I thought it was you. I've been telling everybody. I was like, John Forster had the wins lead at Rutgers until Ashnault broke it.
Yeah. Well, you know what it was? I was always especially when I was a freshman or a sophomore. I spent a lot of time in that backside. I would lose early and then I'd come back and take third. I racked up a lot of wins that way. Didn't get it done at the end of the year, but I think I needed to taper down a little more. But good times back there. So so you went back to the Hornets Nest, right? You did a camp over there, right? Tell us about that. I've been hearing about that this summer. It was a good camp you ran. What's the South Jersey talent looking like?
So the last couple of years, that's been, we just do 2 days, but it's been some of the best memories that I've had in a long time, and I think that they've really kept up the tradition there, and they just kind of passed it down to people who really care about the program. It's still a rec program, but they have like a real Hornets Nest enclosed in a case for the kids. They have all the trophies. They have old newspaper clippings. They have green lights out in the gym. So when they have home matches, they can just flood the gym with green lights. They are really doing it up. And big shout out to Frank Zanino, who's taking the reins there and he's running with it. They host Friday night events and the kids are loving it. They're doing well in local stuff, but they're also going big time. They're doing really well in big tournaments and doing a lot of traveling just like we did. So really cool to see that still going. And the kids are having fun. They're working hard. So really, really enjoyed being back there.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, you mentioned the lights and everything. Like, there might be some hardcore people like, oh, you don't need that, but it gets people excited. So anything you do to get people excited, I remember when I was, fifth, sixth grade, I would go to district and I'd see the spotlight and it just makes you say, hey, I want to be out there doing that. So anything you could do to add the excitement, I think is great. I like seeing people throw the bells and whistles on there. I think it's good for the sport, good for the kids. Keep that excitement going.
Absolutely.
And real quick, Coach, why don't we talk about, because obviously we're talking about all this other great stuff, but the program that you're coaching, let's get right to that, because people think of Jersey wrestling. We talk about obviously Rutgers. We talk about what Ryder's done over the last several years, but there's so much great wrestling in New Jersey to begin with in the collegiate program. So why don't you give the audience a little bit about your program and where you're heading, all the good things that you guys have been doing?
Yeah. So right now we're coming off a great year. We were 11-1. In the regular season, we had 6 national qualifiers, 2 All-Americans. Probably the thing I'm most proud of was 9 Scholar All-Americans. It's the most we've ever had. And we're a highly academic college. So just the fact that we have guys achieving in the classroom and on the mat, that's really what I want for every single one of our wrestlers. And I'm trying not to be cliche, like, hey, I want guys to do well. These guys are getting jobs. They're working really hard at getting better. They're working really hard in the room and they're trying to get better at their craft, but they're doing it and taking classes and just knocking it out of the park. Like I love the way these guys are focused, and we're trying to take little steps to just make them a little bit better. Stuff like team tutor, stuff like academic advisor, the nuts and bolts. And I think it comes back to our culture. So I talk a lot about what we want them to be like brotherhood wise and get them together for barbecues and doing that fun stuff. But I think at the end of the day, the fact that they're performing on the mat and in the classroom is probably the biggest achievement.
Yeah, and the results have been there for you. And again, those stats you're throwing out are tremendous. But to your point, listen, wrestling has a short window. There's not an NFL of wrestling. There's the international scene, but we know that's really for the elite of the elite. Some guys go MMA, some go other directions. So you're right. Being able to produce a full student athlete and get these guys just in the classroom as well as the wrestling room, how important that is. And one of the other things I think that helps kind of make that happen is not just at the top, but the staff itself. And I know you got a lot of great names on the staff. You got some Jersey guys. So why don't you talk to me about the assistants and how they kind of fit into that culture and how it all comes together?
Yeah, it's actually like great time to bring that up. And we have a graduate assistant. His name is Messiah Bethea, call him May. And he's a New Jersey guy. He's from Trenton, Mercer County. We talk about it all the time. He's comes from Trenton Youth Wrestling and just a product of their system. We're super lucky to have May. He was a UPenn grad, but then he was their director of ops for 2 years. So I think he's 25, 26 years old. He's more of an associate head coach in the graduate assistant position than he is a grad assistant or even assistant coach. So we talk a lot about how we're doing things, why we're doing things. And I always joke, like, we don't get a whole lot done when we're in the office, but we're like pushing the mountain slowly, and we are having those really tough conversations and trying to pinpoint how we're gonna climb. So super lucky to have May. He's great on his feet, he's great in the room, really fun to be around, and he's been a great addition. He has one more year with us, so he's gonna be back this year. We do have a PA guy on the staff, which I don't know if you guys are okay with. A lot of Jersey talk, and I'm calling you from Pennsylvania right now. We moved over the border. It was so tough changing license plates, Johnny. I'll tell you what, man. It was a dark day, but we got a PA guy, and of course he's our top guru. Really tough on top. Council Rock North wrestler from Delaware Valley College, Delaware Valley University now. Tim Ambacher, awesome guy, really mature. Just got his first teaching job in Council Rock North schools. He teaches special ed, and he comes over every day at 3:30 and works out with the guys and travels with us the whole thing. Just awesome dude to have around. And then we got CJ Brucky. CJ's been like the life force of the team for like the last 4 years. He's all energy. If you ever met him, you definitely you won't forget it. He kind of changes you when you meet him. The life of the party, the life of the room, and all those three guys, just really good role models, right? They're the right guys to have around our guys, and they're the right guys representing New Jersey wrestling. So I just feel like it has never been better, and it's so much fun. It's the most fun I had last year with a group of guys, and we're still going through COVID, right? We're still taking 2 weeks off for this or that. They were swabbing our noses every freaking day, but it was so much fun. We had a blast doing it, and we beat some guys up along the way, and we definitely got some schoolwork done. So that was great.
Nice, and that's a top-notch squad you got there. And you mentioned the academics of the school. We just went through it. My stepdaughter just went to choose her college, and she landed on TCNJ. And I was a Rutgers guy. Rutgers was one of her lists, but looking at it, the academics and being at a smaller school where she could concentrate a little more on academics, we thought that was a good fit for her. She's been up there 2 weeks now. She's loving it so far. So definitely a top-notch school there.
I'm going to talk. I got to talk about it. It's just like she's going to get a really well-rounded experience at TCNJ. She's going to do a little bit of everything. She's definitely going to go to school and get a great degree. She's going to have internships. She's going to have different job opportunities. She's going to get to have fun with her friends, be social. And then if she wanted to do a sport, absolutely could do it at a high level. But they got intramurals, they got rec. Like, you're going to be active too. So it's one of my favorite things about the college, and it's a well-rounded experience for a well-rounded individual. And I think it's just a really healthy place. When you go there, John, like, look around. You're not going to see like the cars bumping music with smoke billowing out. You're going to see kids jogging around the 2 mile circle that they have. And it's just, it's almost all day, every day. So it's a really cool feeling to be there.
Nice.
Yeah, coach. And you raised some interesting points, and kind of John's point of, being Rutgers guys, you want to go to that school, but you're absolutely right. Not every kid is going to thrive in the same environment. And I know my wife went to a small private school, Marywood Catholic School out in PA. And she absolutely knocked it out of the park, and, just some people are good in that smaller setting. Some people are in a bigger setting, they get lost in it. So you're absolutely right. It's the environment. And I think a lot of young kids, and even talking about wrestling programs, sometimes people end up in the wrong spot, and having kind of the experience that fits for you, I think is so critical. I think both you guys are spot on that, and on that point.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you guys are cranking out, not only guys from the wrestling mat, you're cranking out some wrestler or some actuaries. That's my other life, man, being an actuary. You're cranking out some actuaries there. Chis Lombardi and Chis Benvenudo, they are smoking it, man. They're doing good in the actuarial world, coming from the TCNJ wrestling. So it's good stuff there.
Yeah, no surprise that they picked a hard major and a hard career path. Those guys worked super hard. Lombardi, man, he was brute. He was brute. He would beat you up in a drill. He would beat you up in live, and he would just bring it. And Benvenuto just never quit. He was like a dog on a bone. So great guys. I'm so glad that they're with you, and you get to spend some time with them. We had great 4 years with each one of them.
Nice. So yeah, if you want to be an actuary, go to Trenton State. That's a good school. They crank them out. I worked with some other Trenton State folks, Andy Shaler, Sarah Nudie and Alex Carrico, they rock it out the park. Trenton State is a good school if you're looking to go for the math stuff too. So let's get
John,
back.
what's your stepdaughter going to study? What's she going for?
She's going for biology, possibly physician's assistant.
Oh, cool. And she's in the bio major.
Bio major. Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
Tough schedule.
Super tough. Yeah, super tough to get into, and then definitely one of the high level majors. Very cool.
Yeah. So it should be good. So let's get back to the wrestling talk. You had went out to nationals last year, 6 guys, 2 AAs. What do you see as a trajectory for this year?
Well, we're bringing back a lot. We're bringing in some really good guys too. I mean, I'm very excited. Obviously, I'm supposed to be, but I can be. I mean, it's just awesome right now. So we have team lift tomorrow. It's kind of like the kickoff. All the guys are hustling around, get their paperwork in, and do this and that. And we can't train with them until October 10th. That's a Division III rule right now. So October 10th, that's when we can get in the room. That's when we can work with them. And I would say October 10th to March 15th, you don't really see a difference between our program and any other program in the country. We're going 6 days a week. We're competing 1 or 2 times a week. And it's just right now that shoulder season, they kind of got to do their own thing. They're with the strength coach. We're not in there. We're not, running those workouts and things like that. So captain's practices and those guys getting open mats and stuff. But I really like what I'm seeing. We had a really strong class of freshmen come in last year, and I know we're going to talk about them. But our senior leadership is just really special, and it is all Jersey guys. I would love to bring in some out-of-state guys, but right now we're all Jersey. And from really special programs, really big traditional programs. We just had a guy from South Plainfield graduate last year, a Passaic Valley guy graduate last year. They come from good coaching. We got Bridgewater Raritan. We got 2 guys from Bridgewater Raritan on our team. They were coached by one of our national champions, Mike Denver. And we're finding, we're looking for character, commitment, and positive attitude. Those are our 3 values that we're looking for in our recruits. And it really seems to come from those traditional programs, those big programs that are instilling those same type of values. And we might find, a few guys at smaller schools and smaller programs in those little perfect spots where the college is a great fit for them. But I like what we're doing. We're bringing back 7 regional starters. We're bringing back 4 NCAA qualifiers, 1 All-American. I think it's 7 Scholar All-Americans. And we set our goals just a little bit higher from last year. We want to have 7 at the NCAAs. We want to have 3 on the podium. We want to have 10 Scholar All-Americans. So we feel like if we could just chip away at it, then it's going to add up to be something real special. And I think this group can.
Nice. That's awesome. And then last year, let's get into some of the guys. I mean, Mike Conklin went to nationals, was unseeded, came home with a trophy. It got 3 years left, right? What do you think about his plans the next couple of years?
Yeah, Mikey's a special dude. I think you're going to see him. First, I think you'll see him stay at 49. I think he's really comfortable. He gets to eat all his meals. He gets to train. He gets to do schoolwork. So we're not a big weight cutting team. He fits that 149 pretty well. He's long. He can build into it even more, get a little bit stronger. Dude never quits. Mentally tough. Like he's mean, right? He's mean. He can get some offense going on his feet. He can ride on top, throws a headlock. Like he don't care, Johnny. Like you want him on the mat. You want him on your sideline. Like you want him in a street fight too. If there's a dark alley,
hit the left.
He's got a headlock. Yeah. And if he met you anywhere, he would show you. And he would try and finish it too. Nice. He's a lot of fun, man. He's a ball of fire, and we're having a lot of fun with him. But his boys, like the guys that he came in with, that's a really special group. So another Toms River guy, Ryan Rosenthal, he was a state place winner. I think it was at 113 or 120. Super talented guy. He's a lower weight. Kyle Nace, his dad was an All-American at Ryder. Kyle's really coming into his own. He's a Howe wrestler, another big program. So those guys down low. Then you got Mikey at 49. Nicky Sacco, who's another Bridgewater Raritan guy, is at 65. Ryan Romaine, Princeton kid, Mercer County kid, hard-nosed, ROTC. He's doing great for us. And then you got a 97 named Costantis. He's from Pascack, and really like what he's doing. Had hip surgery last year. But just that group, that group, when they're seniors, oh, man, look out. It's really, really going to be good.
Nice. And then coming back again, another guy, Quinn Haddad was in, ranked very high last year. He's a senior, right? Looking to get on that podium. What are your thoughts on him?
So Quinn's a fifth-year senior and just a really, really neat kid. Like I think he's won almost every award that we've given. So we give awards out for character, commitment, positive attitude over his time at the college. I think he's won each one of them. If not, he's definitely in the conversation for all of them. He's the kind of guy that can go out and tech you just with a tilt, right? But you wouldn't mind if he was talking to your daughter. Like, he's that kind of guy. He's the guy that you trust, respectful young man, and just a hardworking kid. So he's looking to go into law enforcement, and whoever picks him up, they're really gonna step into it. He's a great kid. Caddy's great golfer. Caddy's in the summer. Just went on a run with a guy, took second in a big tournament a couple of weeks ago. He's got the club championship coming up, and just really love being around Quinn. Looking forward to working with him this year and taking some steps to finalize his goals. And he doesn't have them just on the mat. He's got them in the classroom. So he's a scholar All-American, but he's also got some leadership goals and some things he wants to accomplish and kind of leave his legacy, leave his stamp on the program, which is pretty neat. Not a lot of guys they don't communicate that sometimes, and he's been very upfront about that. So I'm excited for him.
Joe, I'm listening to you describe the lineup, and it's not just the wrestling accolades that you're speaking to, but you're going back to the culture you said you're trying to build. And you talk about, this gentleman's going to law enforcement, someone who you wouldn't mind taking out your daughter. I mean, things like that. You hear that, and you have some of these programs that build it, and they get some talent in there. But there's some questions in terms of where the culture is going. And it sounds like to me that you're building not just a solid wrestling program, but you got the culture go along with it, and that's exactly how you're describing these guys. And I think you were down the line, Sacco, Kyle, Mikey, anyone else in the program, anyone new that's maybe going to take the mat that we should be looking out for? Anyone else you want to highlight that maybe you haven't brought up, maybe a newcomer that, we don't have our eyes on?
Yeah. So, I got to talk about the rest of our captains real quick. We got the double MSs at 57 and 65. We got Matt Sacco and Matt Search. They're blood brothers. They're training together all the time. They're always getting something extra in, always getting the extra lift. They're always getting some recovery in, and great leaders. Looking forward to watching them. Matty Sacco had a really nice run at the end of the year last year. The whole season actually really strong. Took second in the region, then won a match, big match at nationals. Beat a guy who no TCNJ wrestler has been able to beat at 157 or 165. The guy's beaten us for 4 years, and then we beat him when he was a senior at nationals. So Matty wrestled great. It was so much fun, and just a hard fought bout. And Matty Search is like your all-American type of dude. Always wants to get after it. Fighter. Johnny, he's gonna fight a little bit. He was in a fight last year. Legit fight, not a street fight. He was in the cage, and he trains with Austin Wall, who was a state champ back in our day, up in North Jersey. He's a Mawa guy. So Matty's doing real good with all his training and looking to be Scholar All-American this year. Yeah, Reed Colella, he's going to be a third-year starter. He's going to be the first 4-time Scholar All-American, and he told us today he's going to come back for a 5th year. He might be the first 5-time Scholar All-American for the College of New Jersey. So that's just a really cool thing. And new guys, I'm pumped about a couple of them. I'll highlight Martinez, Alex Martinez, the Boundbrook kid, and didn't place last year. Goes to New Jersey Freestyle States, wins it, knocks off a couple state place winners. Really talented, works out with Nestor Tafar. And I tell you what, we saw him a couple times when he was in high school. He'd come down to our open room clinic, and I'm going, it's a high school kid. I don't really have to wrestle him too hard. Next thing you know, I get taken down. All right, took me down once. I get up, take me down again. I'm like, what the heck's going on? I really got to turn it on for this kid. So something special there, cooking with him. We got a kid named Cassidy from West Essex, Garish from DePaul, and that's just to name a couple. I'm real excited about all these guys, and I'll tell you what, I might not be saying the right names because the 2 national champs that we had, neither one of them placed in high school states. They're guys that just came in, they had fire in their belly, and they wanted to get after it. So Mike Denver in 2012 was the best wrestler in Division III. He was the most dominant wrestler in Division III, pinned in the finals. And then Ryan Budzik was an unseeded national champ in 2019 and just made a great run, but knew he could do it his whole time, and was riddled with injuries his career. But senior year, he went after it and got the job done. So Any one of these guys could do it. They put the hard work in and have some fun, and as stars align, and we're going good.
Well, good stuff there, Joe. We're going to be keeping an eye on those guys, following them through the season, see how it pans out. So it sounds like to me you got a room that's growing, that's getting better. It's a good culture. So really exciting stuff going on. If we could pivot, I'm going to kind of bring it back to you, because obviously one of the big news that we kind of brought out in the show when we had Coach Goodell on here is talking about Joe Pollard. And obviously you guys have a history, okay, going back to Ryder, and obviously you guys spent a year together, and then he went on kind of as an assistant. So why don't you talk to us about kind of your experience with Joe, and most importantly, what we should expect out of him, anything you want to talk about, Pollard and what he brings to wrestling, and to New Jersey wrestling.
So I was thinking about this, and I want to ask you guys, have you guys ever worked out with him?
Physically, no. John?
Yep.
I never did physically. I watched him coach, but never worked out with him.
Yeah. The dude's an animal. He outworks everybody. Outworked everybody at Ryder. He outworked us when we were on the mat, and he was a TCNJ coach. And I'm sure nothing's changed at Rutgers. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he's still in it, and he's going after his dreams, and he wants to be back in the corner for Rutgers. And I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. I look up to him. There's a lot of really cool things, and what he's done with Scarlet Knight Wrestling Club and the following that he has. I think that was grassroots. He really built that up, and I don't know if a lot of people know that how much he gives back to Team New Jersey, and that's a really fun thing. It's definitely a recruiting tool and something useful to our craft, but I look up to that, and I started getting into it because it was something I saw him doing, having a lot of fun with, and I was like, that's something that I really want to do. And Joey has set the precedent for some of those things. For me, open my eyes to a few special things like that. And there's no one more deserving, right? And there's no one more that's gonna work harder while he's doing it and have fun with it. So super happy for him and all he's accomplished.
Nice.
Yeah, I think everything you said there is spot on. I can tell you, as someone who's gotten to know Pollard over the last several years, something I brought up with Coach Goodell, just his approachability is one of the best in the business. He's such a pleasant person that when you approach you and talk to, it's so easy to talk to him. And you touched on it too. I don't think people realize what he built on that Scarlet Knights Wrestling Club and the connections he's making, both at that level and just in Jersey, across the board. I think he's a bigger name in Jersey than a lot of maybe the casual fan realizes it. So I think everything you said about him, Coach, is absolutely on target.
All right, good stuff. Now we're gonna wrap up here, but I'll end it with one question. What's one duel that you're looking forward to this year? What's one of the top duels you're looking forward for TCNJ?
So we're going up to the Armory in New York near Albany, and we're going to wrestle Castleton. And I'm excited to wrestle Castleton, but we're wrestling right next to Iowa. We're wrestling right next to Illinois, wrestling right next to NC State, Central Michigan, Buffalo, teams like that. And I think giving these guys those type of experiences, that's what I'm looking forward to. We got Ithaca and Johnson and Wales coming to TCNJ this year. So a couple really good home duels and a couple good away ones. I think it's going to be a great season. National duels too in January. Can't wait, man.
Nice, Joe. We'll be watching out for you. Let's hear that music going. Time to roll out. But TCNJ, make sure you guys are following them. Make sure you're following the show. Check us out on Facebook, on Instagram. Check us out on Spotify. Make sure you follow us. We got a lot of great shows coming out. Jersey Wrestling. Roll Junkie, make sure you get our NIL deal with Roll Junkie, 15% off. Top Wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu apparel, Barn 15, and we're out.
Good luck, Coach.
Great job, guys. That's awesome.
All right.